stories and inner workings and different timelines. So basically, we show up at a house and there's a maid, and she says to take her hand and she'll guide us through these doors. And behind each door is a bunch of memories of times people were at this same house. And so you go through all these stories. Me too, so it's just like me for real. For real. And all these stories are really sad. And then we find out that they're a long lost couple. And so that's kind of where we're at. Reality fades back into view. I'm looking at neither the endless eroding darkness nor the visions of my past, but the sea of blood spouting in all directions. I'm standing on top of the observation tower outside the door. I've returned, back in Morgana's world, her bitter, hate-filled, curse-fueled world. To tell you the truth, I didn't see this coming. This is my mansion, my domain. She was supposed to be locked up, but it would seem my will is not as absolute as I had thought. What would you call that? The power of love? Is that what allowed this to happen? How trite. Where's the magic, the miracle? I can think of one other reason she was able to escape, and it's the only way we'll be able to find the power we need to cast off the darkness of this house. But first, before we do anything else, we must open this door. Whatever nonsense that woman filled your head with, it certainly seems to have put some fight in those eyes. Well, good for you, my dear. A little confidence boost doesn't erase the fact that you're on the ground, crawling through filth like a worm, tears streaming down your face as you tried to ignore what lay before you. A little self-esteem isn't going to make you any less helpless when you step through that door. But that won't stop me from trying. I'm done acting like you're some inevitability, some force of nature. It's time for me to take a stand, Morgana. The air around the door has a distinct chill to it as I place my hand against the wood surface. My arms, once bloody and lacerated, are now whole again. I can feel my entire body, everything back in its rightful place. I take in a breath, lift my head, focus my gaze on the door, and push it open. Resting on the back of my hand, I can feel another palm soft and warm. Through the single window sitting high atop the wall shines a ray of light. A black butterfly flutters within the beam. Its form is indistinct, wavering like a mirage as it slowly descends to the tower floor. Then, from within the darkness, a person appears. Is that you, Morgana? How does it feel to finally meet the real thing, my dear? I knew you were young, but you really are still a child. Having heard her tale, I know she died still a girl, and I know how she came to bear so much hatred for the world. But knowing and seeing are two very different things. The sight of her bony, adolescent body is a painful reminder that she never had a chance to know happiness, to know adulthood before being robbed of her life. I had assumed monster would be your first reaction, with a face and a body like this. Interesting. How very sweet of you, Michael. So tell me, what exactly do you mean to do now that you're here? Your ultimate goal was, as I understood it, to take Giselle back. But she's no longer here for me to return to you. She broke out of my cage, and exhausted what remained of her soul to show herself to you. I cannot perceive even a trace of her presence any longer, so I presume her soul shattered, dissipated into nothing. Skelly hand! No, she's right here beside me. Is that so? Seem to believe as much anyway, which only makes your presence here a bigger mystery. Oh, I know, you want revenge. Made you miserable while you were alive, and I continue to torment you in death. You entrusted me with Giselle's life, and I used her for my own ends. You must despise me. Heh. Hatred fills you. You want to curse me, to kill me. My death would mean the end of all this. Shall I grant you that wish? She flicks a finger. The next second, a long sword clatters to the floor at my feet. Take the blade in your hands, and like the night of the old who executed the witch, pierce my heart with it. Do now what should have happened then. She's Emperor Palpatine, for real. You wanted to be a knight, didn't you? Go on, pick it up. Show me your revulsion, my dear. Morgana, I do have a reason for being here. I came to save you. An attachment? Let me click on it. What is this? Aww. Anyway, this really is a sight to behold. I like these Higurashi pictures. Mystic, what are all these? I think Mion looks so cute in this picture, in the last picture. Oh my god, there's so many. These are screenshots from when I was playing. Oh! Yeah, they're so cute. I love Higurashi. Did you hit your head on the way up? You came to save who? I spent so long trying to look away when I should have been trying to look deeper. Mion looking like a snack. To tell you the truth, your constant chattering in the darkness evoked even more than annoyance to me. I empathize with your loneliness. I bear no hatred for you. It's my despair that brought you back to life, so that makes it my responsibility to end this. My own wish has given me all the redemption I need, my dear. Should I be expecting another self-righteous lecture about how hatred does you no good? Brilliant, Michael, brilliant. Do you have any idea how absurdly presumptuous you're being? Trying to force your idea of redemption onto someone who has no interest in it. If the tale you showed me was the whole truth, then I would have said you could revile those heartless men as much as you please. But I refuse to believe that's the whole story. The men I saw beyond the first 3 doors had genuine concerns and worries. They felt things, real human emotions, even if those ultimately led them down a path of destruction. Wanting to do something nice for the one you care about, being disgusted at things you've done, hiding your urges from those around you. You certainly couldn't call them good men, but they were real people with real conflicts. So you're saying I'm lying? Well, I can't say I blame you. Who would believe the word of a witch? I don't think you falsified your account, Morgana. The tragedy, no, the grisly reality you described, I don't doubt any of that happened. You wouldn't be here otherwise. But I learned something in my years. Reality exists from more than one perspective. That doesn't change what happened. The two-faced young man deceived me. The beast severed my arm. The greedy, power-hungry lord used me for his own personal gain. Events by themselves do not tell the whole story. Only when you take into account their circumstances, what they thought and felt, their perspectives, only then can you say you've reached the truth. Your point being... You're gonna march down where their souls are and ask them for their perspective? Don't waste your breath. They'll only tell you what benefits them the most. Then we do it our way. We open the door to your past. And if I refuse, this is my domain, my world. It operates in accordance to my will. The door won't open unless I allow it to. Were you aware, Morgana, that I recovered my first memory in front of a mirror? You what? This is kind of crazy take, but let's see where this goes. The same mirror Giselle used to practice her smile, and all those hundreds of years, bits of her memory came to reside within it. Every time she stood before that mirror, she had me in her heart. And next I saw one of my own memories play out in our bedchamber. It's the first day after we opened the windows, when she let the morning sun into my room. That day was a turning point in my life. And why are you telling me this? Because it means the world doesn't belong only to you. It's also hers and mine. And that is why she was able to break free. Your wish is without question the most powerful of anyone's here, and you have more authority over this place than anyone else. There is no denying your position as master of this mansion, but Giselle and I, we too have influence over this domain. I was the one who resurrected you, and she was served as your guide. So the door will appear, whether or not it is your will. Their souls reside in here as well. They may spin convenient tales, but the memories ingrained upon their souls can tell no lies. All the pieces are on the board. Ooh, an echo reference? The door will open. Say the door does open. What does that change? Nothing those men may have thought or felt can take back what they did to me, this rotting, broken creature they turned me into. I don't care what was going through their heads. I will never have my forgiveness. My hatred is unwavering. My wish will not be undone so easily. Their souls shall suffer for all eternity. Before we begin, Morgana, let's get one last lingering question out of the way. And what might that be? Who the white-haired girl is. That's your lingering question? We've already established. That was you, Morgana. Ha 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 ha. We're still wet? So in a desperate plea, now you came back as a woman. You're not trying to make me into her? That's perhaps the most ridiculous thing I've heard. That was you, my dear. Don't avert your eyes. You must face reality. I'm not averting my eyes, and I'm not in denial. I have faith. Faith that I only ever made it back to this mansion once, when I awoke in the rocking chair beside the fireplace. Huh. Nevertheless, this hardly justifies accusing me of being that foolish girl. How could you possibly think I was her? Never have I been present in these walls, not even while she was alive in the claws of tragedy. My hair is not white, nor my eyes are not red, and look at this horrid, festering face. How could I ever become her? How your soul appears is irrelevant in this case, Morgana. I will uncover the truth about you, things even you don't know, and if I can show you that you are in fact the white-haired girl, in that moment your reality will be rewritten. If you're so confident, then be my guest. Find out for yourself. Just how little you're capable of. Blackness fills the observation tower once more. Morgana fades into the distance, leaving me alone in the dark stream. It's the darkness I've seen, felt, and been consumed by numerous times since arriving at the mansion. But this time I welcomed it, praying that beyond it lies the truth with the power to release all from the house's grip. Then this next tale has no narrator. I won't sit back and listen as someone recounts the path of fate for me. No, I have to find the path for myself this time. I don't know what awaits me beyond the black, but no matter what it may be, so long as I have the power to provide redemption, I must never put down my sword. Now, let us open the door, the final door. OMG, the final door, guys. I brought you some food. You have to eat something. You barely touched your food yesterday. Come on, please. Just leave it there. Her hands aren't bound. She can eat whenever she pleases. But she's not gonna last much longer. Boy has a point. She won't eat, we'll lose our supply of blood. That's not what I meant. Leave it there. Oh, well, we'll be back. Do you really have to go? Yeah, things are pretty hectic right now. And when do you, I know, she's so cute. And when do you suppose you'll be back? Tomorrow, same as today. And you'll have enough time to talk then? Will you? Yeah. Are you hiding something from me? You're acting kind of funny. You're my sister. I wouldn't keep anything from you. You're not yourself though. What's so different about me? Well, you're not acting much like a prince. Oh, right, of course. Don't worry, I'm still your prince, same as always. What's your power? Mine is luck, a boring power. My power's probably luck too, strange. Good night, Nellie. Why is this Nellie? Is this when she was younger? My princess. How did I end up in this mess? I never wanted this. All I wanted was a quiet life. Someone get me out of here. Take this thing somewhere far away from me. Tell me I'm not the bad one here. Oh God, I'm begging you. Just make it all go away. Someone. Anyone get me out of here. Look, the stars, they're beautiful. Though with it so bright out, I worry someone might see us. Everyone's long gone. I hope so. Are you ashamed? A little, but I still want to be with you. Have you ever considered leaving the convent? You can't just stop being a nun, you know. It's not that simple. I've made vows, sworn my life to the service of God. With a nun? I was not aware. I don't know how much about this land's traditions. If I were to leave the church, I would have to be in my next life. I get to be a normal girl, lead a normal life. Get married, have kids. Before I know it, I'm a lone lady. Thinking, it was an uneventful life, but it was the best I could have asked for. That's my dream. That sounds very peaceful. I hope we can be together in our next lives too. Relieve me of my sister. Have a nice quiet life together. It'll be a city on the water, looking out over a beautiful glimmering emerald sea. Blue sky spreading as far as the eye can see. Sound of the seabirds squalling by the port. The two of us sitting shoulder to shoulder, just looking out over the city. Doesn't that sound wonderful? It certainly does. I would love that. A harvest festival. On the day of the festival, 3 days until her death. Wake up. Please wake up. Come on. Open your eyes. Michael. So bright. I'm outside. The light feels like needles in my eyes. First thing I see beyond the mansion's darkness is blinding light. The sun glares mercilessly overhead. Gentle breeze blows past, and I can hear birds chirping for several different directions. Each breath I take fills my lungs with the scent of earth and grass. So much time has passed since I've been in the light. I almost feel like I'm alive again. No, not almost. What's going on? What on earth? Is this the era Morgana lived in? Michael! Huh? Oh, thank goodness you can hear me. Good morning, Master. I hope you slept well. Hee. Giselle, is that voice really you? Swear it's me 100%. Not that mean old phony. So don't you worry. No, I believe it's you. I just was not expecting to be able to hear you here. I did say I would always be by your side. I'm relieved. Hee. Where are you, Giselle? I can see you anywhere. Well, I'm not exactly sure myself. You don't know? I don't know how to describe it. It's pitch dark all around me, like a black smoke churning in the darkness. Feels a lot like inside the mansion, but I don't think I'm actually in the mansion. So you're still trapped in the void then? I can see a shimmering light off in the distance. Through the fog, I can hear sounds coming from that direction. It's like the outside world is leaking through the light. I can see the trees rustling, hear the birds singing. I can't see you though, so I assumed I was seeing through your eyes. I thought I'd try getting your attention. So that means you can see everything I can? Seems so. Though I don't know if I can quite see as clearly as you. I wish you could be here to feel this too. Experience in my place even. No, this is an evil countdown? For real. It's a bizarre sensation. While I could not see and feel the words through the other doors, it was strictly in the capacity of an observer. We were merely watching, not actually present in the tales. This time I feel like I've been resurrected and dropped into the world as a participant. It's all so vivid. Everything in the mansion lacked. It's all here, I can feel so clearly. Wish you could have been the one to experience this. It's okay, Michael. I know you'll dispel this darkness I'm in, won't you? I will. More than happy just being able to hear your voice. Being able to see what you see. It's like a miracle. I too am glad to know you're there. To have the chance to hear your voice again. Thank you so much for saving me. If you hadn't shown up, I wouldn't be here. Oh no, I should be thanking you. I was overjoyed to learn how much you really cared about me. There's so many things I want to say right now. So many things I want you to know. So many thank yous. So many I love yous. Hey now, is that really the best response you've got? Surely it can be better than that. You're embarrassing me. I'm somewhat disappointed by one thing though. I can't get any hugs or kisses since I'm not there in person. Oh come on, you're not very good at this, are you? And you're not very good at picking up on how much you're embarrassing me. I expect at very least of me too. We should start by figuring out when and where exactly this is. You're not even trying, are you? I'm doing the best I can. Please don't ask any more of this of me. It's okay though, I might not be able to see you, but we're together either way. You know, Michael, I think I might be able to help too. While I can't be with you there in person, I can give you ideas, another point of view when you're not sure about something. Where the two of us together will find a way through this. Yes, we will. Where to begin? What do you say we get our bearings, list out exactly what we need to take care of? It's not a bad idea. A bit frazzled at the moment, to tell you the truth. What? Why? I assumed we would just be observers with the other doors, searching their memories for clues. Never expected I'd actually be thrown into the era. One sec, let me put my air on. Oh my god, Mochi! Thank you for raiding me! I hope you had an amazing stream. It was so fun to pop in really quick and hang out. Oh my god. Can't stay because spoilers, but hope you have a good stream. Of course, I totally understand. Hello, Dr. Kaiser. I hope you're doing well. True, it's not like all the other doors. No matter how their rules may change, I'm seeing this through to the end. If our guess is correct and we have arrived at Morgana's past, then we need to uncover the truth behind those events. Or rather, the three men's circumstances. What they felt, what drove them. My gut tells me there's something to be found there that even Morgana doesn't know. Could be wrong, and it's possible that even if I am right, what we find won't do anything to quell her hatred. But we won't be talking her out of it, that's for sure. Words won't break through that kind of animosity. We need something bigger. Something she could never have imagined. Something that will turn her entire worldview on its head. The white-haired girl might be a good place to start. Showed up at the mansion again and again, as though led there by some supernatural force. She was involved with all three men in some way. Can't think of anyone else with such huge ties to both the mansion and the men. So at the same time, I have a hard time convincing myself that Morgana we know and the white-haired girl could be the same person. They're about as different as two people can be. Which actually leads me to believe there's something there. There must be something. Some secret we haven't figured out yet that we can use. So let's find it. It won't be easy. We are in the past though. I wonder maybe we could change it? It could be a huge chance for us. Change the past. Yeah, we could prevent Morgana's death, or we could stop whatever led them down this path. There's an idea. If it's actually possible, maybe we can do something. Question is this world really? I'm getting kind of pumped. I've got my game face on and I'm ready to do this. It doesn't do much good if no one can see it. It's a figure of speech. Okay, first things first, we need to find the mansion. Morgana should be on top of the observation tower, and the three men shouldn't be too far off either. So the question is, where are we? Do you recognize the surroundings at all? We never left the mansion. I'm not especially familiar with the lay of the land. Give Give me a little spin, would you? She requests I slowly spin around in a circle. Through the dense woods, I spot a cluster of what appears to be storm formations. Squinting to get a better look, I realize they're buildings. Decently far off, it appears to be the edge of a city. I think that might be the village I stayed at for a while. It's a bit big for a village. Don't you remember what Amadi said about the village's history? Amadi, that bastard. Michael, you didn't think something uncharacteristically vulgar just now, did you? Wouldn't dream of it. Yes, I remember. He said one was much larger, and that it was destroyed in a single week by the witch's curse. Except rather than a curse, it was probably disease. That's the same city, and it fits with what Morgana said happened. I believe he also said something about there being a large bridge on the outskirts of the city. Now following the path there would lead to the mansion. So let's head down to the city. Alright. You don't sound very enthusiastic. Are you nervous you might have to talk to someone? Don't worry, you've got me here. Don't treat me like I'm antisocial. You're not? No, that's not what's bothering me. It's something about this whole thing feels off. The world we're in. Never mind. I'm probably overthinking things. But now is not the time for that. We need to go get moving. Let's go. Rather than waste time fretting over details, we need to get to the mansion like she said. Everything else comes after that. With each step, I can feel the earth compressing beneath my feet, the grass flattening. As I weave my way through the trees and towards the city, the sensation of having a living flesh and blood body slowly returns. So this is a younger Mel. I kind of want to save here. I know we didn't play for long, but it feels like I want to leave up on a cliffhanger. Okay. A white-haired man just appeared out of nowhere. And he's talking to himself. Gotta get away before he does something. Hold her right there, Mel. You don't get to call me crazy and then just run off. How do you know my name? How? Why wouldn't I? We were just in the mansion together. Huh? Mansion? What are you talking about? Right, he hasn't become the shadow in the mansion yet. I doubt I would forget seeing someone as usual as in you. Who are you? And where did you come from? Where? I'd like to know myself. Say something, Michael! He's not getting any less suspicious of you. You have to come up with some way to break the tension. Improvisation isn't exactly my strong suit. I am God. I was sleeping in a tree. Oh my god. I don't know which one to pick. They're both funny. Well, the God one's way funnier. Fuck it. Michael, even I wouldn't believe you if you told me that. Fine, fine. I'll load the. Fine, I'll go with the other option. Sure, it looked like you just popped out of nowhere. You imagined it. It was so sudden your mind misinterpreted what you saw. Is that too much of a stretch? Yeah, you're right. I must have been seeing things. People can't just appear out of thin air. On nice days like this, I'll sometimes climb a tree and take a nap too. And then roll over and fall flat on my face. So I can relate. Michael, napping in a tree. I can't even imagine it. Me neither. Also, it seemed that, like Morgana's, I'm the only one who can hear Giselle's voice. But it doesn't explain how you know my name. I am, you look like it a lot like an acquaintance of mine. I imagine my surprise when it turns out you have the same name, too. That's definitely pushing it. Oh yeah, that happens to me every now and then, too. Geez, you had me spooked for a second there. Well, on one hand, I'm glad he bought it. I feel perhaps he's a little too trusting. He's the kind of guy who just keeps on walking when he runs across something out of the ordinary, pretending he didn't see a thing.
Not the most admirable of traits, but we're in the clear.
I assume you're from the city then if you're out here?
Actually, no, I'm a wanderer of sorts.
Did you come by to see the Harvest Festival then?
Harvest Festival?
You don't know about it then? 3 days from now we're holding a festival at the church to celebrate the spring harvest.
3 days. Morgana died when the bell tolled noon on the day of the festival, which means she's got that much time left.
This will be the first time we've held the festival, so we're hoping to make it into a big event, something really memorable.
And a young girl dying behind the scenes of this seemingly pleasant celebration.
If her death is 3 days from now, it might give us enough time to do something about it.
Could I ask you to show me the way to the church? I would like to join in on the festivities.
Sure, yeah, of course. Church doors are open to all, friends and family and wanderers alike. It's not far, follow me.
Thank you. Didn't occur to me until now, this is a really strange experience. This is a boy from a completely different time period who I would have never had the opportunity to meet. If he's here, then presumably the other two are as well, which means Morgana's wish for their reconstruction was actually granted. There's some choices that can lead you to a bad end, so be careful. Okay, I'll save when I get choices. Yet he played a part in Morgana's imprisonment. I have trouble believing he would voluntarily involve himself, though.
I was scared for a minute there. There could have gone a lot worse. Plus, we managed to make a contact with Mel in a record time.
She interacted with him and the others before, so I guess this doesn't feel strange to her.
You don't want him to hear you talking to yourself again. That's why you're not saying anything to me, isn't it?
Actually, I think I can talk to you without speaking. Can you hear me?
How are you doing that?
I have a lot of experience talking to ghosts.
That really drives home how bizarre things were for you in the mansion.
Were you not in similar circumstances when it was you and Morgana together?
Yeah, now that you mention it, what a bizarre time we've both had in that mansion.
You're now just realizing this? So what's your impression of him?
My impression that he's the same Mel as always?
In a little more detail?
He's an amicable young man. Nice enough to show a complete stranger around.
I agree. In Morgana's version of the story, he betrayed her. But he doesn't seem like the kind of person who would enthusiastically do something so malicious.
He had to have some reason.
And we need to figure out what that was. The question is, how do we go about it? We hardly have enough time to earn his trust and convince him to tell us himself. We'll just have to put the knowledge I already have to good use.
Oh, that reminds me.
Something that might explain it?
No, about Morgana. When you were alive, she's always right there with you, like I am now, right?
Whenever it struck her fancy, yes. She didn't seem to care when or where. She would just start talking whenever she felt like it.
Well, whenever?
For the most part, yes. Anytime she wanted. Giselle?
You don't have to worry about that with me. I know when to keep my mouth shut, promise.
What?
You said you feel like you're alive again, right?
My 5 senses all seem to be working in order.
Which means you'll also be getting hungry, tired, sleepy, and you'll, you'll have to go to the bathroom. I'll be playing Close My Eyes and Plug My Ears while you're doing it.
Thanks? What would possess her to bring that up? Does she even realize what she's saying?
Oh gosh, now I'm red as a tomato.
That answers that. Moving right along. We need to discuss how we're going to go about this.
Right, that.
The Harvest Festival is our deadline, which doesn't give us much time. We need a plan for when we arrive at the mansion.
How about we spill their secret? Tell everyone about the girl they've got locked up in the tower and force them to set her free. Surely they wouldn't stand for that.
Perhaps, but would anyone believe me? If I walked in and said I came from the future, that I know what's going to happen, would anyone actually buy that?
Sure, with enough convincing.
If I did manage to convince them, the tower door was locked in Morgana's rendition of the tale. You need 3 keys to get inside. Mel should have one of them, but stealing his alone won't be enough to get into the tower.
True.
Giselle was right, and we can't save Morgana and change the future. Then that would indeed solve everything. But something about this whole situation still doesn't sit right with me. I have to do more than just set her free of that tower. I have to find the truth as well, as I initially set out to do. Regardless, I would like to try and stay on everyone's good side as much as possible for now.
Okay, I'll do whatever I can to help.
I appreciate it. I mean, as you know, conversation is not exactly my strong suit.
Which means it's my job to hit the brakes whenever you say something stupid.
It's a bit too late if I've already said it.
Anyway, step 1 is to get ourselves into the mansion. We can't hope to make contact with the other 2 men, much less get Morgana out of there if we're not staying nearby.
I'll do what I can.
We're almost there. See the big building in the distance? That's the church.
It is the same mansion as I suspected.
Seeing it now, knowing what horrible things happened there, it's so disheartening.
Are happening as we speak. In the tower we see in the distance, Morgana is locked up all alone.
Wish we could just march in there and set her free.
If getting into the tower our only goal, we could probably force a way in with little work. Is something the matter? Mel, I could probably overpower him and get his key. Hello? The other 2 almost certainly wouldn't work for. Can you hear me? Oh yes, sorry, I was lost in thought.
Seems kind of strange, doesn't it?
What does?
I mean, it doesn't look much like a church. At glance, you'd think it was some noble's estate.
Ah, so it does.
Spent so long there, it never even occurred to me. I was pretty surprised when I first saw it myself. A peculiar place all told. There's a chapel inside the mansion with this gorgeous stained glass window. It's quite the sight.
Do you know why it was built like that?
I'm not actually sure myself, no. Anyway, I'll show you to the chapel. The saintess should be there too, so I can introduce you.
The saintess?
You've never heard of her. Everyone around here knows her. She's a nun of the church and everyone calls her a saintess. She's practically her own religious figure.
Oh, he's not talking about Morgana.
You'll just have to see for yourself. Come on.
Alright.
On our way to the mansion, we passed through a courtyard of sorts. When I lived here, the area was overgrown with weeds. Apparently they kept it in better condition in this era. Following Mel's lead, we head through the chapel's entrance.
Oh my.
I'm at a loss for words when I see what lies on the other side of those all too familiar doors. While it was barely recognizable as a place of worship in my memory, just 2 columns of battered pews and some piles of rubble, the room I'm looking at now is unequivocally a chapel. So this is what it used to look like.
I wonder how far back this is from when we lived.
Has to be more than a decade or 2, maybe 100 years or more.
The views and beliefs about the world prevalent in our time are not so different than those of this time. Perhaps the chapel was destroyed in the aftermath of the Harvest Festival. When I was first sent to the mansion, there were signs that repairs had been attempted.
The stained glass window is behind the pulpit, I'm guessing, though we can't see it from here.
And right next to it is the door to the observation tower.
Ah, there she is. There's no priest here, she runs the church. You'll want to talk to her first if you're planning to participate in the Harvest Festival. I'll go fetch her for you.
Is it the white-haired girl? I wonder. Whisking his way between the pews, the boy disappeared into the back of the chapel, turning with a nun in tow. When I see her, my face twists for a brief moment.
Good afternoon. You came to see the festival, I hear. It's wonderful to have you. Is that who I think it is?
I'm all but certain at this point that major players from behind the 3 doors are present here. Now, who do you think it is? I don't know, she kinda, it's hard because she doesn't have any hair. It could be anyone. Not just the 3 men whose shadows remain in the mansion. It could be that one girl from the Jacopo story. But also the woman who report in parts of their lives. Though dressed differently, the way she speaks and the way she holds herself resembles the woman killed by her lover behind the second door. Oh. So she's... I wouldn't have guessed that.
They're all connected. Well, we thought were 3 separate tales. I'll search back to a single point in time before our own. Is there something the matter?
No, I was just thinking how unusual it is for one nun to be managing an entire church by herself. Ah, yes, it's the usual reaction from new visitors. I even think this assignment is a bit over my head.
Assignment?
Ah, well, I was at another church before this one, a smaller building, and I wasn't the only nun. But the lord of the land ordered me to transfer to a new, larger church he was opening, and so here I am.
The Lord.
There's plenty of space on the property, more than enough to provide shelter for orphan children and aid for the sick.
Seems rather vacant from what I've seen.
Ah, yes, about that. We used to take people in, but circumstances have made that difficult as of late.
What kind of circumstances?
It's not something I can discuss with an outsider, sorry.
I'm guessing it has to do with Morgana's imprisonment here.
Do you think she knows about Morgana?
I would guess not. The men swore to keep it between the three of them.
So she's being forced to oversee the mansion completely oblivious of what's happening here.
She doesn't say she's not connected to it in some way. If she's the girl from the second tale that she should be close with.
Is something troubling you?
No, my apologies. I just got lost in thought.
Hehe, you don't look it, but you're actually a bit of a daydreamer, aren't you?
Daydreamer?
Mel would fit that description much better.
Mel would fit that description much better.
What? Why? Do I really look like that much of an airhead? Oh, I can see that. Someone has to watch out for him, or he's likely to lose his head in the clouds.
I really don't think I'm that spacey.
I'm not trying to say you're spacey. I just feel like I've got to keep one eye on you at all times. It's a lot like when I imagined having a little brother would be like. I'm an oldest child, you know. What's the big deal? You don't want a big sister? Well, I want you to be my little brother. I don't want to be just a capital S sister to you. That's so stiff and formal. No, I want to be your sister.
I'm a little old to be playing make-believe.
Oh, come on.
They're quite friendly with one another, it would seem.
Oh, I know. Why don't you become her brother then?
What?
Will you?
I will not. Besides, I'm clearly the oldest one here.
Why not? I don't think it matters who's older than who. You don't really act like that old anyway.
I have at least 10 years on you. Your youngest child insecurity showing. Insecurity?
Hehe. You two are pretty good friends, huh?
We can discuss the veracity of that claim later. I'd like to ask you a favor.
What is it? I'll gladly help with anything I can.
Could I perhaps borrow a room until the day of the Harvest Festival? I don't have anywhere to stay, or source of income for that matter. I know I'd be taking advantage of your generosity, but I only meant to intrude for a few days.
I'd be more than happy to offer you a place to stay at any other time, but right now I can't let you stay here. I'm so sorry.
Well, damn, so much for that.
Don't let one little no stop you. Keep pushing. Put on a show and her sympathy. She's a lady of the cloth. If you make her feel bad for you, she'll offer you her aid.
Put on a show? You expect me to act? I'm having another episode. I was so sure this church would be able to help.
That's not going to convince anyone.
Quiet, you. He was perfectly fine on our walk here. Shut your mouth, boy.
As I said, we did once offer a place of respite for the ailing and needy, but regrettably for the time being, we're unable to take anyone in. What I can do, though, is give you medicine. Since we can't let people stay here, with the Lord's generous assistance, we've been handing out our medicine instead.
So all you do here, then, is give people medicine?
Yes, I suppose that's what it boils down to. I'm honestly not sure why we're not allowed to offer shelter right now, but we are still able to provide assistance to those in need, so I assume it's just a temporary measure and we'll be able to take people in before long. And with how much he's done for the church, it's not really my place to complain about his decisions. I truly am sorry, I hope you understand. I'm supposed to ask for a tithe in exchange normally, but just this once, it's yours free of charge.
Could you tell me more about this medicine, please?
It's called Saint's Blood, and it'll cure any disease.
Saint's Blood?
It's not real blood, of course, that's just what it's called. It sure sounds divine, doesn't it?
No, that's not true.
Huh? It is real blood.
What did you...
Sorry to butt in. Do you mind if I bring him back to my room? I don't think I mentioned it, but he's an old friend of mine. We've got a lot of catching up to do. Alright. Hey, come on this way. Well, that sure got quite the reaction out of him. Now he's incredibly leery of you. Once you mentioned the blood, I couldn't stop myself. Probably should have kept my mouth shut, though. Mal doesn't say a word the entire way. His smile is retreated and there's a hint of fear lurking beneath his new sorry expression. Stony. I spend the trek through the mansion corridors pondering how to answer the questions I know are coming, how to solve the problem I put myself in. We enter a bedroom, presumably his, and he closes the door behind us. I can see the distrust in his eyes as he glares at me. I have to ask, who exactly are you? Why did you say that back there? That saint's blood is actual blood? In response to his pressing, I'm gonna tell him everything. I know Mel feels immense remorse about his involvement in Morgana's imprisonment, so I decided it's best to tell him everything. His shade in the mansion begged for me to save him. If he knows what I know, maybe this Mel will seek help as well. Perhaps I'm being rash, but it's worth a shot. Alright, I'll tell you everything. It might sound crazy, but I promise you, everything I'm about to tell you is the truth. I'm not from this time. What? I've come here from a point in time after Morgana's death. How? Do you know about... I know everything. Morgana told me what happened here, what will happen here. You and 2 other men imprisoned her at the top of the observation tower, eventually leading to her death. At this point in time, she should still be alive, but she'll not be for much longer. When the bell tolls noon on the day of Harvest Festival, Morgana's life will come to an end. And when she dies, she will do so in the grips of overwhelming hatred, a hatred that will transform her soul into a true witch. The 3 of you will become targets of that hatred, and targets of her curse. And by the power of that curse, you will be drawn back to this place in your next lives, where great suffering and misery awaits you. Everything you're saying is going right over my head. Our next lives, her soul a witch? Every word of it is true. Did I say anything to contradict your experiences? 3 of you have Morgana imprisoned in the tower. You drain her of her blood, which you then claim is a medicine called Saint's Blood, which you give out in exchange for tithes. Am I wrong about any of that? I'm here to save Morgana, to set her free of that tower and all her hatred, which will consequently set your souls free as well. I know you're not proud of what you've done. Lend me your hand in freeing Morgana, and tell me your story. Tell me how you came to be involved in her imprisonment. This is not the path you wish to take, I'm certain of that. You wanted blood for your sister, yes, but you're not the kind of man who would think severing another's arm was acceptable. You have to have some reason for it. Please give me your assistance. Tell me your tale. Saving her will save you too. I only want what's best for you. Could you give me a moment? This is all so sudden, I'm having trouble wrapping my head around it. But I do get one thing, that you know what we've been doing. Give me some time to process it. I'll have an answer for you tonight. Please, I'll make the right decision. I just need time to convince myself. I understand. Wait here until I come back, would you? It's almost sundown, it shouldn't be long. Tonight I'll tell you what I can. Once I've made sense of everything, I'm sure I'll be able to shake hands. So just relax here for a bit. I'll be waiting.
Thanks, see you tonight.
Tonight.
Well, he seemed to believe it.
Thankfully, I was worried he wouldn't.
I knew he wasn't happy being a part of this. He desperately wanted out, and you gave him that opportunity.
Can only hope.
He said he'd help, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt and see what happens when he comes back.
Perhaps I'm just being paranoid, but it feels like that went over too easily. Yeah, that's what I think this might be the bad end. I think he might lure people to come get us. No, I made the right decision. Hello, are you there? May I come in? You may. Sorry it took so long. Not at all, you did say it would be night when. What? Is this the man? Never seen him before. You. It's them. I had a feeling this was gonna happen. What's the meaning of the smell? Where the hell did you get your information? Michael. I came from the future. My time Morgana's already dead. I'm here to set her free to erase. You spilled it, Mel, didn't you? No, I didn't. Why do you think I told you about him? So you'd know it didn't come from me. I can't believe he... Mel, how could you? What happened to everything you said earlier? That you'd make the right decision, that you would help. You two friends? For the thousandth time, I met him in the forest this afternoon. I've never seen him before then. Then who told him? It wasn't me. I've got nothing to gain from talking. True enough. He's just messed up in the head, that has to be it. He has all these crazy delusions. Souls turning into witches the next life. He's mad, I tell you. I thought he believed us. Mel, am I wrong that you feel remorse? Am I wrong that you don't want to be involved in this? You shouldn't be adding to your list of wrongdoings. No, you should be doing what you know is right and let Morgana go. Are you sure you're not friends? I swear to God. If he was a friend, why would I snitch on him? You're not one to let friendship get in the way of what you truly desire. I would never. Michael, we have to get out of here. If he so much as twitches like he's going to run, cut him in half. Michael. Maybe you'll come to your senses. I know you know exactly how what you're doing will affect your next lives. Morgana comes to bear such an incredible loathing for each of you that you people care for. Who, pray tell, lives live fearing how it will affect their next? You were right, he's out of his mind. Listen, you chose the wrong man for your little sermon. Next life, souls? God damn it. How can I get them to believe me? I've seen it all, but they don't have any of those memories. How can I convince them to believe something that hasn't even happened yet? How can I get them to release Morgana? How can I save her? Michael, please, you have to run. You're in danger here. I would love to, but the door's blocked. So tell me, who told you about Morgana? Morgana herself. Who told you? I'm telling the truth. I know what I know because she told me. I suppose it doesn't matter where you got your information. Getting rid of you still means one less person who knows. Michael! Kill him. Don't. Can I play with him first? No, do it quickly. I'm tired of listening to this madman's ramblings. No, please don't do this. We're only here to save your souls because we believed you weren't truly evil, so why? Oh, alright, I'm not happy about it though. You're putting more than just your next lives at risk. You'll lose the people you care about in this life too. People are going to die on the day of the Harvest Festival. Many people are going to die. You may be able to avoid all that if you set her free, and also change your own fates as well. I can't listen to this anymore. Kill this madman now. Don't, please, I'm begging you, don't. It really is a damn shame. I was hoping I could have some fun with you. Michael! Happened in the blink of an eye. The man steps forward, and the next moment his sword's out of his sheath. I'm toppling backward. Michael, no way! Say something, please, Michael! Giselle's screams fades into the distance. As the three men watch, I make a heavy thud against the cold floor. You clean up this mess, Mel. Last thing I want is that damn nun suspecting anything. Don't you vomit, boy. Make any more of a mess and you'll be joining him. Haha. All three of their voices are growing muted now. Excuse me. As my vision goes red, I realize I can see my own body off in the distance. What pains me most, though, is that Giselle has to witness that too. But everything's slipping away from me so quickly, I don't have time to come up with anything to say before it all goes black. Yep, dead end. Well, this is why we saved. Don't worry, Jill, we can load for the last checkpoint. I don't know how much time. It's our best interest to tread carefully. There's too much we don't know yet. Be wise not to make a rash decision. With him as tense and suspicious as he is right now, it won't be easy to get his key, persuade him to tell us how he ended up here. Furthermore, my experiences with these three shades tells me if I'm not careful, I could be putting myself in unimaginable danger. A brief flash of what might have happened had I spoken too soon crosses my mind, sending a chill down my spine. If I want to get Mel on my side, I'm gonna need something more, something decisive, something that'll convince him he needs to come clean and set Morgana free. Regardless, being cautious isn't gonna mean much if I can't get them to let us stay in the mansion. We need to be nearby, keeping an eye on things, gather information. How to go about that, though? Assuming he's not voluntarily involved, maybe all we have to do is ask for his help in setting Morgana free and he'll work with us? Perhaps. Being so direct will only invite more suspicion. She's probably on the right track. When I met his shadow, it was burdened with great regret. He begged me to help him. My remark about the saint's blood was based on stories I once heard about a person whose blood was said to have healing properties. Stories? Maybe they haven't made it out this far, I don't know. But they tell of a girl born in a distant village, a saint and the daughter of God. Thought perhaps the nun might be the saint spoken of in the stories, and I was hoping for the opportunity to see a miracle performed with my own eyes. I have to say, you look more angry than excited. Didn't hide it very well, I guess. Maybe it appeared that way to you, but I've never had a very friendly face. If you say so, as long as you're telling the truth. I myself have to wonder, why did my remarks seem to bother you so much? What? Is there something more to the saint's blood than you're telling me? No? Something that would make you want to get me alone and interrogate me? There's nothing. I just, didn't want to scare anyone with the talk of blood, since there's not actually any in it. I didn't know about the story, so... It's just medicine, I swear. As you say. It's got nothing to do with the saint in your stories. To change the subject, could I ask you to convince the nun to allow me to stay here? Huh, weren't you listening? We can't take anyone in right now. Which is why I'm asking for your recommendation. You live on the premises, don't you? I'm more of a supervisor of sorts. And you should have some say in the matter. Why? Till the Harvest Festival is all I'm asking. Why not get a room in an inn? If you need money, I'll spare you some coin. I must stay in this mansion. But why? These are my instructions. What? You know the stained glass window in the chapel behind the pulpit? It was named after the Archangel Michael depicted there. The angel came to me in a vision, instructing me to watch over the festival here. From where you were standing, you couldn't possibly have seen the window in that much detail. You couldn't. Oh, I get it. Been to the church before and you're just acting like you haven't. It's a metal door off to the side leading to an observation tower. Yeah, you can see the tower from the outside. Inside is a long spiral staircase, not made of stone but wood. There's a single door at the top of the stairs. How? What are you really here for? All that vision stuff is a lie. I'm not here to cause you any trouble. In fact, I'm on your side. Show up out of nowhere and you expect me to believe your nonsense? All I ask is for you to allow me to stay until the day of the festival. If you can do that for me, then I'll make you the promise I could not before. I've not forgotten about your pleas for salvation. I know you want to be free. Let me guess you saw that in a vision too. If you want to call it that, then you can. I never once asked for you to save me. You're mad. But fine, I've got nothing to hide anyway. If I say you're a friend, the Sanctus should be willing to accommodate you. I'd already told her you were my friend, didn't I? I'll try and persuade her. I don't know what your deal is, but try not to cause any trouble, okay? For your own sake. I won't. Only until the festival. You're not getting another day out of me or her. And this isn't your home, so don't act like it is. Of course. Thank you. I never did get your name. It's Michael. Alright, after the Archangel Michael. Just like you said, haha. I really cared much for Michael, to be honest. He weighs your soul in one hand, on his perfectly balanced scales, then delivers its punishment with the sword in his other. He's not an angel of salvation. Out of curiosity, could you perhaps be... No, never mind. It's turned into a bit of a storage area. If there's an open room you can use, I'll show you the way. I appreciate your courtesy. Well, this is just lovely. There are cracks in the ceiling and the walls peeling off. There's a bed at least, but it's coated in dust. This was a storm when I lived here, as I recall. Sorry about the condition. I didn't choose a bad room for you on purpose, I promise. If you want to sleep somewhere more comfortable, you're not going to find that here. Not a problem. I'm grateful to have her at all. If you say so. Well, I have work to do, so I should be on my way. Talk to the saintess as promised. I imagine she'll make supper for you at some point. But do keep your crazy talk to yourself around her. I'll make a note of it. Thank you. See you. You need to work somehow. It's a lot of pressure being under that much suspicion, huh? My heart was pounding this whole time. And the Archangel Michael came to you in a vision stuff. I never expected you to go there. Why'd you tell him that anyway? Because I didn't think telling him I know the future, I need your help to change it, would have gone over very well. Besides, those who yearn for redemption have a tendency to last onto the spiritual. I thought if taking advantage of that would work to our benefit. You know, I bet you'd make a pretty good con artist, Michael. I did what I thought was necessary. I know. Besides, you have every intention of keeping your promise, don't you? Whether or not Mel can be saved is up to him. I will lend him my hand, though. You say it's all on him, but deep down you know you're on his side. We're complete strangers to this Mel, but I can't bring myself to think of him that way. I just met him today, but it feels like reuniting with an old friend. He's the same old Mel. And you were actually there, a part of his life, which I imagine makes the sentiment all the stronger. You don't feel the same way? I don't think of him as a total stranger, no. However, nothing. I was about to say something incredibly cynical, but I caught myself. What? Nothing, don't worry about it. If you say so. I was always the one with nothing to offer, powerless to be of anyone's help. So if anything's motivating me, it's not concern for the boy, but a desire to prove that someone like me can do something. This song, I might cry again. Aw. Didn't take much arm twisting to give us a room, so who knows, maybe he'll come over to our side easier than either of us expect. Him giving us a room was not simply out of kindness. Keeping me nearby allows him to keep an eye on me. He doesn't trust me, but he also doesn't know enough about me to decide what to do yet. He needs time, and doing this gives him that time. If he decides keeping me around is not to his advantage, he will act accordingly. Do you really think he'll do anything to hurt you? Mel's a kind boy, and well, to be frank, I don't think he has the spine for it. It's hard to say, but even if he doesn't, we'll still have the other two men to worry about. Nevertheless, his cooperation will undoubtedly be the easiest of the three to gain. We were fortunate to run into him first. Well, what makes you say that? Did you ever have a chance to see the shadows trapped in the mansion? Shadows? I might have. But around the time Hayden Rhodes passed away. Why does it keep skipping? It wasn't really there anymore. I stopped thinking, stopped trying to make sense of the things inhabiting the house. I had become merely another part of the cursed mansion. I was only able to converse with them after I had reclaimed myself. I suppose, much like the rules differ between realms of the living and dead, so too do they differ for those who have lost their grip on reality. As I was searching for a way to get you out of the tower, I encountered and spoke with three men's shadows. Of the three, Mel was the least threatening. He bears a great deal of regret. He yearns for someone to save him. I heard him muttering, "This isn't what I wanted. He doesn't want to be involved in this. Someone else is holding the reins." My first guess would be the Lord, but regardless, they are not equals in this endeavor. He once out that maybe he would have agreed to help if we told him we're here to save Morgana. Carelessly revealing our hand at this stage did not seem wise. It would have never gotten to the point if it were so easy to stop. So I guess our first task is to earn Mel's trust. Morgana's death is in 3 days. We have until then to get all 3 keys.
It won't be easy. I mean, we weren't even present in this world until today.
Exactly. We have no one to vouch for us, no one who even knows who we are. But we have knowledge, quite a bit of it in fact. We not only know what happens in this era, but you showed me their next lives as well. From that we can deduce how they might behave and to whom they have ties.
You're right, we do. We know things we should have no way of knowing, and that we can use that knowledge to our advantage. Their various interpersonal relationships are where we can get our edge, I think. They each have their reasons for locking Morgana up, and if I'm right, they're doing it for other people. It's those powerful bonds driving them. Mel's driving force to be a sister, for instance.
Are they mere bonds, or is it fate that ties them together? You're right, we should find and talk to his sister. Mel is more likely to act if it's coming from her than us.
I agree. If his darling sister tells him to stop, he won't have any reason to continue his involvement.
Knowing how the first tale might end makes me slightly uncertain, but for now we can work under the assumption that he does genuinely care for her.
What do you want to bet? What do you want to bet she's somewhat nearby? I mean...
She will be. It's her death that sparked the chaos on the day of the Harvest Festival.
Ah, right, it was. No, you're exactly right, but what I was going to say is that people tend to keep the they care most about close by.
It appears I have a bad tendency to focus too much on the facts. That was entirely unnecessary of me. Giselle did not need to be reminded of that. I'm sorry.
What for?
For being careless with my words, inconsiderate.
No need to apologize for the truth. Besides, you and considerate are like oil and water.
And today you're the fire to my oil.
We have 3 days to stop this tragedy. Let's get to work.
Let's. We'll probably have more luck asking than just searching for her. If we can't find Mel, then none might know.
Off we go. I think I'm gonna save here.
Well, let us continue.
So you're gonna continue to Steins Gate 0? One day, yeah. I think I'm gonna take a break from Steins Gate. I'm gonna do another poll with all the games I have ready. We're gonna be finishing White Album 2 soon. We might finish Fata soon too. So I love this song. So I'm gonna put up a new poll where people can vote on what games they want me to play next. I didn't put Steins Gate 0 on there though, because you'll see I have a lot of games. I'm just gonna take a break for now. I love this song so much. I just want to listen to it for a little. The music in this game is just on another level, like really. As I step into the chapel, I see an old man waving to the nun as he heads for the door. The man is practically beaming, and judging by the vial in his hand, he's happy about more than simply having the chance to see her. Is that saint's blood? According to Morgana's account, a disease began spreading through the city at the Harvest Festival, eventually eradicating the population. In a time like this, where medical knowledge is limited, a plague would be almost unstoppable. And the sight of so many people dying so quickly could appear to them the work of a demon or curse. We come from the future, so we know just how dangerous this is. But they have no idea. Morgana described it as a tale that could have only taken place in an era of miracles and spirituality. And about that, she couldn't be more right. Could we maybe warn everyone against taking the medicine? It seemed the sickness was caused by them ingesting blood at any rate. It's no medicine they're being given.
But bottled disease, like some sick joke. If we could convince them to stop taking saint's blood, then maybe that would prevent the city from being destroyed.
But the fact that it's being distributed in the house of the Lord, as peddled as a miracle cure, plays right into their deep-rooted spirituality. Would it even be possible to convince them otherwise? And besides, it's not them we came here to save, but it's veering too far off our intended path. We need to find the truth and save Morgana's soul. Putting ourselves out like that is only going to get us unwanted attention, make people suspicious. And we don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry. It's just knowing what they're doing to themselves, I couldn't help but think that maybe there was something we could do. Especially considering how it all turns out.
I understand the sentiment. Or rather, I understand your reasoning. But for me, Morgana takes priority over any of them. And you over everything. Releasing Morgana's soul should save yours as well, Giselle. We can eliminate the mansion's darkness and you won't have to be trapped as it's made. I have no interest in being the hero of the masses. Let's go ask about Mill's sister then.
Okay.
Turn my gaze back towards the nun to find her kneeling in one of the pews. She bows her head and begins to whisper a prayer. There's no one else in the chapel. Now's the perfect time to ask. Hearing me approach, she falls silent and turns to face me, wearing her usual disarming smile.
Hello, Michael. Mel was just here. He told me everything. Can't turn away from a friend of Mel's, now can we? Sorry for turning you down earlier.
No worries, I did a poor job of explaining myself.
So did you need something? Let me guess, medicine?
No, I'm in perfectly good health.
Figured you were lying.
I can ask her about Saint's Blood some other time. Well, I have a number of questions about the man she's close with right now. Mel's sister is a priority. Are you familiar with Mel's younger sister? She has flaxen hair, much like him.
Oh, you mean Nellie. Are you her friend too?
I would say we're more...
Better off just saying you're friends.
Friends, yes.
Uh-huh. What about her?
I would like to speak with her, and I was wondering if you might know where I could find her.
Nellie should be down at the cottage, I believe.
The cottage?
Yep, that's where I stay too. I don't sleep in the mansion itself.
So you don't live here, but only work here?
Right. For one, there are men who live here. The Lord likes to show up on occasion too, and we can't have a nun wandering around while he's here.
So you and Nellie live together then?
Yep. We have for about 6 months or so, ever since she and Mel showed up. Want to let her stay with her brother. But since this is technically church property, we have to keep the boys and girls separate.
I see.
So glad to hear Nellie got a friend though.
What?
She's not from around here. She doesn't have any acquaintances. With how sick she can get, she doesn't spend much time outside. Which is a shame, because she's such a sweet little girl. I'm her friend, of course, but I've got responsibilities. Can only be around so often. So I'm sure she'd be delighted to have someone else to talk to.
It would be my pleasure. Could you tell me the way to the cottage then?
Oh sure, it's not that far from here. You go down.
The directions I got from the nun led me to a place I know from my own time. It's the same building where the man who had been ordered to keep me under surveillance stayed. Sunlight seeps relentlessly through the trees, and I find myself having to look down at my feet as I follow the path. It's blindingly bright, painful.
How are you holding up, Michael?
I'll be alright. The sun's past its peak. In a few hours it won't be nearly as bad.
Don't push yourself, okay?
Okay. The trek is a reminder of just how inconvenient my body always was, and having this chance to experience being alive again. Comes with both good parts and the bad, but now is hardly the time to complain about my sensitivity to the sun. It's not long before we reach a clearing, a small cottage surrounded by a small garden coming into view, and crouching by the flower bed picking flowers is a flaxen-haired girl.
Are you Nellie?
Though several details of her appearance don't match the memory of her, she has that distinct hair, it could be nobody else. This Nellie is considerably thinner and looks rather frail. The effects of her being ill, I presume.
Who are you?
My name is Michael. I have a few questions to ask you. Can we talk for a bit? I would have thought she'd have said something by now. Being way too blunt, Michael. You've gone and scared her. What else was I supposed to say? You have to approach slowly, carefully. Go on, give her a smile. A nice soft smile. Smile. I'm only here to talk. There's nothing to be afraid of. Okay, that is definitely not a nice smile. I can't even see it and I can still tell. What did you expect? I can't just smile and demand. Eek, it's a bad man. A bad man has come to kidnap me. Save me, dear Smell, before this bad man does bad things to me. Calm down, please. I'm not gonna do anything to you. Eek, don't get any closer. I know you're trying to do bad things to me. I'm not gonna do bad things to you. I couldn't even if I wanted to. Don't move or I'll call the guards on you. But please calm down. I mean you no harm, honestly. That's what all bad men say. Hey, wait, this doesn't look like cicadas when they cry. It is not. This is the house in Fata, Morgana. Welcome, Golden Panther. Giselle, don't just watch. This would be a fantastic time for a little advice. Got it. Maybe she'll calm down if you mention Mel. You're a genius. I'm a friend of Mel's. He was telling me about you, how you wanted someone to talk to. He asked me to keep you company. Mel asked you to come talk to me? He did. Do you trust me now? So that makes you his friend then. As much as it pains me to admit. But Michael! What on earth possessed you to say that? Slip of the tongue. You and him. Is that so? Yes. You're pretty old to be friends with my Mel. Are you really, really, really his friend? Really? Then prove it. How so? If you're really his friend, you should be telling me all about him. In God's name, would you ever subject me to that? Do you not like Mel, Michael? That's not it, we're just incompatible. Okay, here we go. First question. What does my Mel like most of all? Well, you. Nelly. Let me save, in case I picked the wrong answer. You think so too? You think I'm his favorite thing in the whole wide world? I like to believe that's what he thinks. I think it'd be wonderful if I could always be his number one. Her excessive love for her brother is still out in full force, I see. Second question, what kind of person is my Mel? He's a sycophant. That's right, he's a very nice guy. He can have his head on his cloud sometimes, other than that, he's perfect. You know your stuff. To be honest, I was just saying what you wanted to hear. Me and my big mouth. Why the fuck would you say that? Like, what the hell? Spineless chump. Okay, final question. Describe what he looks like for me. Isn't he? He's like a modern day Adonis. That might be a bit of a stretch. Mel could be a prince in a fairy tale. He's got the most perfect face. May I ask you something? You do realize he's still growing, right? And that can change a man in unimaginable ways. Could end up 2 heads taller, shoulders twice as broad, and covered in muscle before you realize what's happened. And body hair, lots of that. Facial hair as thick as these woods. Would you still consider Mel your prince if that happened to him? Mel with a beard and muscles? I won't have it. That's not my Mel at all. You're heading into dangerous waters, Mel. My Mel will never, ever grow a beard. I pray every day to make sure of it. And he won't get all big and muscly either. There's nothing princely about any of that. Base Nelly. I wouldn't mind some muscles myself. Out of curiosity, do you ever want to be buff like that, Michael? Well, yes, of course. Every man wants to be strong and well built. I don't think the beefy look would work on you. Well, that's the last of my questions. You're not a complete stranger, it seems.
Sure, why not? You can be my Mel's friend.
Why, thank you.
This is great. I was sure you were a bad man.
Why is that the first impression everyone has of me? Is never that I'm someone decent.
Any friend of Mel's must be a good person. No, an amazing person.
That's quite the faith you have in him.
Why wouldn't I? He's my big brother.
Some circular logic.
Is it just you? Is Mel not coming?
He's rather busy at the moment.
Oh, he always has something to take care of, that Mel. He's hardly given me any attention these past couple months. But that's okay, because today I've got you to keep me company, hee.
Yes, you do. I can't stay long, though.
Alright, just stay until sundown then. You had something you wanted to ask me, didn't you? Well, if you're a good enough friend, I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Now answer all the negatives to the questions, see your response. We can do that. We can do that. Oh, wait.
Yep, he does. He loves taking naps under the sun. I like the sun too. It's bright and pretty. I like the warmer months because the sun's out longer. It makes it easier to spend more time outside. Second question, what kind of person is my Mel?
He's a sycophant.
Does he really come off that way? I mean, I'm sure he is nice to anyone, but is that such a bad thing?
No, I was too harsh. You're right, he's a kind boy.
Yes, yes he is. He's a kind, sweet, wonderful man. The most princely man in all the land.
I get a very distinct feeling that the kindness comes from somewhere more selfish than that.
Okay, final question. Describe what he looks like for me.
I'm far better looking. He's a spineless chump. Look at her face.
That's not what I asked.
You're just full of surprises today, aren't you? That's so funny. Okay, yeah, let's see the spineless chump one.
Hey Dora, but Mel always falls asleep. Romance especially just goes right over his head. Maybe in a couple of years he'll understand it.
Says his younger sister.
What kind of person is he?
He's a spineless chump.
How could you?
I misspoke.
Claim you're his friend, then you don't call him spineless? You're not his friend at all, are you?
No, I am. I just believe in order to be friends with someone, you need to acknowledge and accept the good and bad aspects of them.
Fair enough.
Oh my god. She's just like, okay. And how do I go about that?
Talking, lots and lots of talking. You have to keep me entertained.
You're asking far too much of me.
She's not asking much at all. She just wants to talk.
Do you think someone who spent 13 years in isolation knows the first thing about holding a pleasant conversation?
Hey now, I was there for a year of that. I'll help you come up with topics, so go on. Do you not want to talk to me?
We could have just insulted him and she would have been like, fair enough, I suppose. I know, right? No, I do. I'm just not much of a conversationalist.
Okay, then instead of talking, you can sing. I've never seen a minstrel before, but I've always wanted to know what kinds of songs they sing. Will you show me?
Never seen one myself either, but I have heard secondhand accounts of the songs of traveling jongleurs. Very well then. I'll teach you a song an old acquaintance of mine heard while traveling.
Wait, I can't wait.
Here goes. Silence is deafening.
I'm shocked. I don't think I've ever heard someone sing so badly.
Me neither, I'm flabbergasted. Well, let's hear you try then.
That's enough singing for today. I don't want my ears to fall off.
What a vicious little girl.
I know, let's bake something.
Bake something?
Yep, come on inside. I made some nice jam earlier today, and I want to make it into a pretty little pie. You get to help me with that.
I'm not much of a...
Come on, get a move on. You either help or you don't get to be my friend.
As you wish. This is not going to end well.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. How on earth do you manage to turn a pie into this monstrosity?
I gave it my best shot.
There's only one explanation. You're possessed.
It's true, he is, but I'm a perfectly good chef.
Michael's just naturally terrible at it.
God, could this go any worse?
I can't give this to Mel. Jerk, dimwit, loser.
I'm sorry.
Ugh. Well, I guess we got no choice but to eat it ourselves. I'll set the table.
What?
And I'll make us some tea while I'm at it. You know, I've always dreamed of this, sitting around a table with a friend, having snacks, and just talking.
Oh?
Yep, and for that I can deal with a little awful, disgusting pie. It's just too bad I couldn't share it with my Mel, too.
I see. For all her complaining, she seems to be enjoying herself. I can only imagine how lonely she is out here. While she may all act all bright and cheerful, beneath it is a real sense of isolation. And the same could be said about the girl behind the first door. As vivacious and pushy she could be, you could see hints of loneliness behind it all. Her brother was practically all she had while she lived in the mansion, but if I were to guess, it's not the life she really wanted. I bet she would have preferred to be able to go out and play with friends. Being born into a noble family takes away a lot of your freedom. Even in such a drastically different time period, she's still the same girl inside. Actually, maybe the parallels extend beyond her as a person, into the courses over two different lives. Perhaps that means all those who were reconstructed at Morgana's wish are destined to lead similar lives, though destined might be putting it too nicely. Nellie. I'd be glad to lend you my ear if you'd like. You can talk about the weather, your brother, anything you want.
You will? Great, take a seat. I got lots I want to talk about. More than you can possibly imagine. And you'll never guess what Mel said next. And that I mean more to him than anyone in the world. So I'm growing flowers out in the garden, right? Well, when I've got enough of them, I'm gonna make a big bouquet and give it to Mel. Back at home, we've got this really, really big yard with this huge tree we used to take naps under when it was nice out. So what do you think about the tea I made? The flower petals, what really ties it all together. Oh, and you won't believe what happened after that. Care for another cup of tea? I'll make as much as you can drink.
No, thank you, I'm fine. I feel like all I did was nod and listen, and the bulk of it was about Mel, no less.
I haven't talked that much in ages, hee hee. Time sure flew by, huh? The sun's starting to set.
Do you and the nun not speak much?
We do, but it's kind of, I don't know. Not really the same with her.
It just feels, I guess, like she's too important for me to waste her time being lady in charge of the church and pretty much the whole estate. And what about Mel? Does she not visit you very often?
No, he does.
Comes to see me a lot. Then why?
He hasn't been himself lately.
My old Mel would always happily listen to whatever I had to say, but now he seems kind of distracted.
Sounds like he's really busy. When he visits, he doesn't stay for long, and he has to go back to the mansion at night. Try to get him to stay longer, but it never works. And he always tries to avoid the question when I ask him why he can't. Feels like he's hiding something.
Knowing what he's hiding, I can understand why he wouldn't want to talk about it. He can never tell his precious little sister that he and two other men have a girl locked up in a tower, that he's stealing her blood for her sake.
I wish. I wish things could have stayed the way they were before.
The way they were before?
When it was just the two of us living together. I know we're more stable here, and I can get the medicine I need from the church, but I'd rather stay being sick than be so alone.
You said you came here around 6 months ago.
Yep, it was just the two of us before that. Well, before that, at our old house we had a bunch of servants, but I never really liked it there either. That many people around, I just felt more alone. I liked it so much better when it was just me and Mel.
Is that really what you want? To be sick and in constant pain?
It's better than being alone. Mel just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand the loneliness is so much worse. Or maybe that's just a guy thing. They don't get what it's like to be ignored. What it feels like to be left in the dark, not knowing anything.
We don't understand, no. We think saving their lives matters above all. Huh? Even if there's a cost saving that life, we're incapable of gauging how great it is. We're unable to see how egotistical, how self-serving our actions are.
Are you talking about yourself?
The same could be said as well, Mel as well, I imagine.
Mel's still around though. He's there, but it's like he's trying to avoid me. All I want is for him to be here, to be with me. That's all I really want. He doesn't even have to be a perfect fairy tale prince.
Have you ever told him that?
What?
Have you ever told him that he doesn't have to be the perfect brother? That you'd be happy with just having him there? Have you ever put those feelings into words?
I'm always telling him I want him around.
And that he doesn't have to be your prince to do so?
He's already said that he will be my prince. And he always smiles whenever I talk about it. So how am I supposed to turn around and say he doesn't have to be my prince anymore?
I know it's not your intention to force an ideal image onto him, but unconsciously, subconsciously, that's what you're doing when you talk like that. And Melly's trying to meet those expectations. Actually, he may not be conscious of it himself, and he just believes deep down that that's the kind of person he's supposed to be. Or more accurately, he seems to have a need to make himself look good to others. He believes that if he's good to others, they'll be good to him in return.
Am I a burden?
I can assure you, he's better off with you around.
But I am a burden to him right now, aren't I?
No, you're not a burden.
Be honest with me.
Michael! She's not a burden. No person is a burden. I'm not reading this line.
Does Mel not like me anymore? Is that why he's been avoiding me?
Promise you that's not the case. At the very least, he's doing what he's doing now because of how much he cares about you.
You promise?
I promise.
I love him. I love my Mel so very much. Too much, in fact. To be honest, I know I do. I understand that really. I know I'm making this life difficult. But Mel's all I have. It's the only person I can latch on to. I can't control my feelings.
It can be difficult to tame your emotions at your age. There's nothing wrong with that. However, you should have taken stock of these emotions, sorted through everything you've gone on your mind, then sat down and then would talk it out. Even if those things you feel seem wrong or unspeakable. You should have opened up to him, taken the time to figure out what works best for both of you. You needed to face things you carried in your heart, things your brother carried in his. By not doing so, you never quite end up on the same page. Small misunderstandings piling up until it all comes crashing down. If they just talked it out, communicated their feelings to one another, maybe their tragedy could have been avoided even with Morgana's curse in play. Nellie had only had a chance to come to grips with her feelings for Mel. Then maybe things wouldn't have escalated the way they did. Her actions that night were arguably hysteric, but she wasn't always like that. I'm sorry, that was out of line. None of this is any of my business, I know.
No need to apologize. You're a very curious man, you know that?
Hmm?
We've only met a couple hours ago, but you talk like you've known me my whole life. It's like you can hear everything I'm thinking, see everything in my heart. Did Mel tell you all that?
No, he did not tell me much.
I didn't think so. He doesn't know me that well. It's not too late, is it? If I talk to him, really tell him how I feel, do you think Mel will listen?
I know he will.
It won't make things worse? It won't make him uncomfortable?
There's a chance that rifts may form at first, but those cracks can be filled again. And I promise you the result will be something much better than you had held it in. It will all work out.
Okay. Next time I see Mel, I'll tell him. Tell him he doesn't have to try to be my prince.
Good.
You really are a curious man. You're the first person to ever talk to me like I'm a real person. Everyone loves to say how sweet and adorable I am, but that's it. I was only ever their make-believe princess.
You are a real person, I assure you.
Thanks. You know, after talking to you, I feel a whole lot better. Like I can do anything. I'm glad you came by today.
And I'm glad I can meet you in person.
Hehe. It's weird. It really feels like we've known each other our entire lives.
I've known of you for some time. Perhaps I should say what you will become.
Huh?
Oh no, ignore me.
Were you... Was that supposed to be a pickup line? Bad, Michael. I'm still too young for that.
No, I wasn't.
And now you're getting flustered.
Swear that's not what it was.
I know. Jeez, do you really think I'd trust you that little?
Sorry.
Oh, I just had the most wonderful idea.
Oh?
Yep. Instead of being my friend, I'll let you be something even better. You're my second brother.
Aww. Second brother? Oh, this is so cute because Michael finally has a family member that sees him as a man who doesn't judge him.
A brother is much, much more special to me than a friend. Though obviously you can't be my number one.
I'm blanking.
She's taking a liking to you, that's good for us.
I'm not sure how I feel about her putting so much trust in me so quickly though.
The amount of time it takes isn't important. What matters is that you listen to her, you understood her, and you treat her like a real person. In her eyes, you're someone she can depend on. Do you not want me as your sister?
Actually, I was the youngest child, so having a younger sister would be,
Would be what? Come on, spit it out.
It would be rather nice.
Hee hee. You bet it would. Who wouldn't want an adorable little sister like me?
It's a bit narcissistic, wouldn't you say?
Well, it's true, isn't it? Go on, tell me I'm adorable, dearest Michael. What? Well, don't just stare at me. If my Mel were here, he wouldn't bat an eye.
Please don't compare me to him. You know, now might be a good time to tell her about Morgana. Part of me feels like I'd be taking advantage of her newly earned trust, but it'd be easier to bring it up now while she holds me in such high regard. She's much more likely to believe me.
You're right. I agree, now's probably the best chance we'll get, especially considering how little time we have.
Can't shake this feeling I'm rushing things, but at this point, all I can do is go with it and pray it works out.
If we had time, I think we'd all like to hold off. Now it looks like she's having so much fun. Even you seem to be enjoying yourself.
No, I'm just...
It's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm having fun watching it myself. Let's do it. Let's tell her about Morgana. We have to do it at some point anyway.
Yes, let's.
Nellie, do you mind if I ask you a question? What is it, dearest Michael? Ask me anything you want.
Have you heard of something called Saint's Blood?
You mean the medicine?
Yes, except it's not actually...
I know, yeah. It's actually the Saintess's blood, not medicine. But no telling.
You what?
One day, before we moved here, when it was just me and Mel, the Saintess came to visit. My mind had been foggy for a long time, like it was not quite asleep, but not quite awake either. When I heard her soft, pleasant voice, the fog cleared a bit. And then she performed a miracle for me. Blood is awful and gross and terrible, but the Saint Tess's, hers is different. Hers is pure. So you're saying you know everything, Nellie? About the observation tower and... Huh? The tower? What about it? That's where they keep her. What? No, the Saint Tess is always in the chapel. She stays here with me and she comes back at nights. In fact, she should be here any minute now.
So she thinks the Saint Tess is the nun, not Morgana.
No, Nellie, that blood comes from... I'm really, really grateful to her. She didn't just perform one miracle, she's been taking care of me while I'm here too. So when I see her, I always say thank you. I thank her for sharing her blood with me, and she keeps saying it's nothing with a big smile.
Nellie, no. The nun has no idea. She thinks Nellie's thanking her for giving her the medicine.
I owe the Saint Tess my life.
No, Nellie. She's not the one you should be grateful to.
Huh?
The girl you owe your life to has been locked up, suffering and alone even as we speak.
But the Saint just is at the church.
The girl who came to visit you and the nun is not the nun everyone calls the Saintess. Her name is Morgana.
Oh, what are you talking about, Michael? The Saintess is locked up? Stop that, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Everything I'm telling you is the truth, please believe me. When you were lying in bed, sick and barely conscious, did you get a good look at the Saintess who gave you her blood? You didn't, did you? You couldn't make out any details because your mind was in a haze. And then when you arrived at this estate, you met a woman people called the Saintess, giving out medication known as Saint's blood. So you assumed she was the one who cured you. So that's the story you chose to believe.
If what you're saying is true, then where's the other Saintess, the one who came to save me?
At the top of the mansion's observation tower. The door to the tower is locked. She's imprisoned there.
And how do you know this?
Because it wouldn't be wise to tell him from the future just yet. That would only serve to confuse her further. All I need to convince her of right now is that Morgana is being held in the tower. That's an idea. Perhaps I can borrow from the story of the white-haired girl told Mel.
I received a letter. A letter? There's a single window, far out of reach, in the chamber at top of the tower. A dove flew by it through the window, so she wrote a letter tying it to the bird's leg and releasing it in the hope someone would come set her free. That letter ended up in my hands. If that's the case, then who locked her up? Was it the Saintess, the one I know?
No, I don't believe the nun is aware. I think she's simply doing her job in good faith.
Then who?
Michael. I know very well that what I'm about to say will likely crush her, but I can't let that stop me.
Who would do such a terrible thing?
Nellie, I want you to brace yourself for what I'm about to say. There are 3 men participating in Morgana's imprisonment. And one of those 3 is your brother Mel. I understand that's the last thing you wanted to hear, but please believe me, I would never say something so upsetting lightly. I wish to save Morgana, the true saint. And I would like your assistance. Without your help, I can't let her out of that tower. I need you to get through to Mel, otherwise both he and Morgana will remain entrapped.
That's not true.
Nellie.
You're lying, you have to be. My Mel would never do something so horrible. You're a terrible liar.
It's true, I swear to you.
You think I'm gonna believe that? My Mel's an amazing, wonderful person, and he's not cruel and evil. He's good, kind, like a prince. And a prince would never lock someone up.
I know you're not blind, Mellie. You can see that all your prince talk has been putting pressure on him.
So, you think that's gonna change my mind? He has no reason to do any of that. But he does, Nellie. Certainly not happy about it, no, but he's doing it for you. What do you mean?
He needs her blood to keep you healthy, so to ensure he always had a supply.
But no,
And despite that, Saint's blood probably doesn't even have healing properties. No one benefits from doing this. Not you, not Mel, and certainly not Morgana.
and I don't think anyone can stop him except you. Mel won't listen to me. Did you not just say you would talk things through with him? Just shut up! Stop talking already! I'm done listening to you. Nellie. I'll never believe you. You're not my brother anymore. You're just a horrible, horrible man. Who do you think you are to march in here and try to make my Mel into the bad guy? And after I made you my second brother, what's wrong with you? I trusted you. I ate nasty pie and had tea with you, but you're just a mean, evil man here to turn me against my Mel. I know you don't want to believe me, but I'm telling you the truth, every word. Beg you to open your eyes. Ask him yourself. If you don't believe me, then ask Mel about Morgana. I guarantee you he'll panic. Enough! Enough already! Get out of here! Get out this instant! Nellie. Don't say my name! Just go away! Get out of here! No, I don't want to see you ever again! Should have chased you off the moment I saw you! Get out now! I pray you can find it in yourself to open your eyes and face the truth. Get out! One last thing before I go, Nellie. It's my only option, I know that, but I feel like I accomplished by telling her I was bringing her more pain. It's a difficult balance. We just have to pray that you're able to get through to her. I'm sure she'll come around. Only we had a little more time. 3 days it will all be over. Morgana and the entire web of people connected to her will die. That's not enough time. Return to the mansion and look for Mo. I'd like to speak with him. If there's a chance we can get even the smallest bit of Nellie's feelings through to him. Maybe he'll have a change of heart. Hopefully. It's hardly going to be elegant, but it's what must be done. Did you just get back? Saintess was telling me you went to see Nellie. What do you think, sweet girl, isn't she? That she is. But she can be a bit of a handful sometimes. I'm glad you keep her company for a bit. Just to be sure, you kept a lid on all your crazy talk, right? She treated me to some tea, nothing more. The stuff with the flowers petals in it, yeah? She thinks it's some kind of charm to make it taste better. Girls seem to have a thing for stuff like that. Mel? Could you spare a bit of time for me? We need to talk. Sure. Can it wait a bit, though? To run a little errand after supper. When I'm done with that, I'll meet you in your room. Alright. I think the errand is bring Morgana her meal, presumably. Might be able to catch the three of them opening the door if we trail Mel. It's too big a risk. Mel's already wary enough as it is. I concur. We don't know how the other two might react either. It's best just to play it safe. No one's going to come to our defense if we're caught. Not at this point in time. So we'd better be off waiting in our room. Agreed. Though winter has receded and spring is well upon the land, there's still a sharp chill to the night air. Even with the windows shut, the wind still manages to slip through the cracks, making the candle flame waver. Neither Giselle nor I say much of anything. Nevertheless, when she does speak, the sound of her voice, soft and pleasant, relaxes my nerves. The faint sound of her breathing reminds me I'm not alone and that she's there always watching over me. When the candle's about half gone, the door swings open. Sorry it took so long. What do you want to talk about? Didn't bring anyone with you? No I didn't. Who do you think I would bring? No one, I was just checking. Now I'll get straight to the point. You're afflicted with a great deal of remorse, are you not, Mel? Pardon? I know what you're doing, what you're involved in. I know the girl atop the observation tower very well. Her name is Morgana, and you have her imprisoned in the tower. The door requires 3 keys to open, one of which you possess. You need her for her miracle blood. How? I came here to stop you. How do you know any of that? It's not possible she could have told anyone. Did one of them tell you? No, it wasn't them. I was told all this by Morgana herself. How could she? What I'm about to tell you is going to seem impossible, but every word of it is the truth. I'm not from this time.
Many, many years after her death, Morgana's soul told me what happened to her. What? What are you even talking about? She's still alive. You're not from this time? What? Are you mad? Can you come up with any explanation for how I would know everything I know? There's a single window in the room at the top of the tower, a small insignificant thing that sits high upon the wall, currently useless for communicating with the outside world. In 3 days' time, during the Harvest Festival, Morgana will die, and I must prevent that from happening. Prevent it? To do that, I need your key. Will you give it to me? Huh, there you go, talking nonsense again. You know, I warned you not to kick up any dust for your own sake. But I guess that didn't get through, huh? I don't care who you are or where you came from. All that matters is you intend to stay in our way. What, did you think I was just a helpless little boy? That you could take my key without any trouble? Well, you'd be right about that. If it was only me stealing my key and getting her free would be a trivial matter. But it's not only me. And the other two, they won't hesitate to kill you. Your life, anyone's life, means nothing to them. You don't know what they're like, how terrifying they can be. They're killers. If I tell them everything you told me, I'll tell them you know our secret. And don't come crying to me when they come for you. I warned you. Is that what you want? Will you find the comfort you seek by being their devoted little slave and keeping Morgana imprisoned in that tower? What else can I... If you feel ashamed at all about your part in this, if you want to do something to correct it, then you need to take that step. You can't fix this problem on your own, no, but I'm here to help. I'm not ashamed about anything. Don't lie to yourself. Don't act like you know how I feel. What the hell's your deal anyway? Show up out of nowhere spouting all this I'll save you and I'm here to help rubbish. You need to do this for your sister. See, now that's ridiculous. If I wash my hands of this, I won't have access to the witch's blood anymore. And without that, Nellie can't get better. She will die without that blood. Her blood has no miraculous healing powers. You only believe it does, making it appear to work. You're mad. Morgana's blood is not carrying Nellie. In fact, it may very well be killing her. If you keep giving her that blood, Nellie will also lose her life during the Harvest Festival. What? You're standing on the precipice of a horrific tragedy, and you're gonna take everyone down with you if you don't turn back now. What are you... All three of you are going to lose everything the day of the festival, and there's only one way to prevent that. You have to set Morgana free. You're insane if you think I would believe that. Nellie's gonna die? Could you have told a more mean-spirited lie? You're the one who's trying to kill her. I'm just trying to save her. And you're going about it entirely the wrong way. Do you have any idea how lonely your sister is right now? You should be at her side. That's what you should be doing instead of stealing a poor girl's blood. I've had enough. What do you know? If I lose Nellie, I'll have no one. My whole world would collapse. This is the only way I could keep that from happening. This is my best option, my only option. So no, I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep Morgana locked up, and I'm gonna keep stealing her blood. And I'll hand you over to the other two, and I'll have them kill you. You'll regret even showing your face. Oh shit. Mel, is that really true? What? Do you really have the Saintess locked up? What? Why? What are you doing here, Nellie? The man told me I had to talk to you. He said if I didn't have the courage to do it myself, to wait outside his room tonight because he was going to get the truth from you. You conniving son of a... You were planning this all along. Why would you tell Nellie? Why would you bring her of all people into this? Mel. Tell me, Mel, is it true? Nellie, are you really keeping the Saintess prisoner and stealing her blood? And you said you would have him killed. I never thought you were such a terrible person, Mel. Can't believe you would do such despicable things. No, you're not my brother anymore. Nellie! Michael, go after her. Bitch, we're going after Nellie, obviously. But just in case, we're gonna save. We have to stop her, bring her back. Nellie!
Don't follow me, just go away. Leave me alone. Stop.
If you run away from him now, Mel will never come back from this.
Then why did you tell me? Why did you tell me what he was doing? If you hadn't said anything, everything would still be fine. We wouldn't be in this horrible mess. If you hadn't said anything, I could have kept on believing in him.
No, things wouldn't be fine. Why can you not see that?
You shouldn't put your faith in your ideal brother, but the real one. The boy in that room stricken with regret. If I hadn't said anything, the facade would have ruined you both sooner or later. No, in truth, your relationship was already broken. You're simply ignoring the spreading cracks. I know on some level you'd realize that Mel was keeping something incredibly important from you, and that secret was tearing you apart. There's nothing good about this, though. We'll never go back to the way we were. We could never go back to what it was like when we were kids, just the two of us playing together every day, having fun. Everyone's childhood comes to an end. The flow of time is impartial. You cannot fight it. What you can do, what only you can do, is choose how you change. But...
I will admit, I'm the one who opened your wounds, and now I'm putting the responsibility of tending them on you. It's cruel, I know. But if you don't come to terms with Mel and make his withdraw his participation, even greater suffering awaits you in the future. It's not over yet. You cannot let this be where it ends. The bonds you formed over the years are not yet broken. And you can do what I was never able to. You can still repair your relationship.
But I'm scared. Scared that my brother, that my Mel could do such terrible things. That he could say, he would kill you. He used to be such a good brother. He was so kind, so friendly to everyone. But it was all a lie. It was just a big act to fool me.
No, it was not all an act. There was truth to it. He is a kind-hearted boy, an ordinary young man, whose kindness was always twisted by circumstance. It doesn't matter how good a person someone is. Everyone has the potential to do terrible things when backed into a corner.
You think you know everything?
I know that much. Nellie, if you want your brother back, you have to act now. Please, you must take action.
But I'm scared. What am I supposed to say to him? I don't know.
I'll be there with you. You don't have to face this alone. There's more to this story than we've heard. We don't know how he's got himself involved in this, and I mean to get the rest of it out of him. And you need to be there to hear it.
If, when I hear what he has to say, I try to say something I shouldn't, if I try to say something that will ruin everything, will you stop me? You're the one who told me to open my eyes and face him. You're the one who made me this whole mess. What am I supposed to do if this destroys everything I have? You said you'd be my brother, right? So be a good brother and help me out here. Promise me you'll make sure nothing goes bad. You'll do that, won't you?
Michael, just say yes. We won't let this go bad. Have faith in yourself. Faith that you'll put their relationship on track and recovering. Promise her. Give her the courage she wants from you. You have nothing to fear. I'll be there for you. I'll help you both.
Okay, I'll do it. I'll go back.
Thank you, Giselle.
Oh, don't mention it. Now let's go see what he has to say for himself. Let's draw back that curtain.
Yes, let's.
Nellie.
Mel. What did you come back for? To ridicule me? I'm not the brother you thought I was, huh? Haha. Not at all what you wanted me to be. It's all over. Everything Michael said is true. There's a girl imprisoned in the tower. Completely innocent girl. The girl who saved your life, in fact. Go on, tell me how cruel and terrible and evil I am. I'm no prince. Here's an idea. Why don't you make him your new prince?
You can do it, Nellie. Ask him. You have your reasons, don't you? You have some reason for being a part of this, right?
A reason? Yeah, I have a reason, alright. I wanted to save your life. I needed her blood to cure you, so I had to lock her up.
Tell me the truth. I don't remember much about when the saint just came to visit, but I do remember a little. I remember her saying she would gladly give whatever she could to the sick and needy, which means you had no need to lock her up.
Seeing the tale Morgana showed me was true. She really was a saint.
Yes, she was. Tell me the truth, Mel. Tell me everything.
There's nothing to tell.
There is, I know it. There's a lot more to a story than just the facts. Things you thought, the things you felt, are all pieces that combine to make the whole story. Isn't that right, Michael?
You're exactly right. If you hadn't said anything, we could have gone on with our lives as normal.
No, Mel, we couldn't have. I thought so too first, but it's not true. Our normal lives ended long ago. Gah. Tell me the truth, Mel. No matter what it is, I can handle it.
No, Nellie, you can't. A girl like you, who dreams of becoming a princess, couldn't possibly bear to see how hideous her brother has become.
How could I know if you don't say anything, though? That's how it's always been with us. You were nice to me, and that was all I needed. I never looked beyond the surface. Made you into my ideal brother, and I latched onto that image of you. You're a kind person, Mel, you really are. So kind you played along with my fantasy that you were a prince. You don't have to act for me anymore. I wanted to know the real you. I'm all done being a princess. Just your little sister now, nothing more. Your one and only little sister, Mel.
You need to do this, Mel. You need to tell your story. Until you do, we have no way of understanding what you've been through, what you're going through. No way. If I tell you, you'll lose any hope you had left in me. As Nellie has, you need to release yourself from your own release yourself from your own idealized fantasy, Mel. You have someone right here who will accept you for who you are. I know good and well just how hard it can be to have someone dear to you see a side of you that you didn't want to show them. I think if you want to get it off your chest, though, and I think you want forgiveness. Fantasies are not everlasting. They all crumble eventually.
Show us the real Mel. Tell us your story, without embellishments or omissions. Mel.
Okay. I'll tell you, not like I have any other options. Nellie, if at any point you can't bear to hear anymore, so be it. Free to leave whenever you like.
I won't go anywhere. I can almost guarantee you.
Pray that ends up being true. Alright, here goes. The whole story from start to finish of how I ended in this mess. Until around the time I turned 17, my life was mostly uneventful. On days when it was nice out, I would take walks around the house's grounds, sometimes napping beneath a tree. It was picturesque. You're always there with me. You have me as the same flax-colored hair as me, but yours always seemed to glisten in the sun, whereas mine is flat and dull. Yours shone like a tiny little dancing sun. And at the time, I assumed that was how life would always be. I genuinely wanted it to be. Following my 17th birthday, though, I was met with a deluge of changes. First, Father fell ill, passed away shortly thereafter. With his death came the question of who would be the next head. The oldest son normally would fall onto me to take his place. Mel's backstory is kind of interesting. I was 17, by all means enough of an adult to handle things myself. Or well, that's what I thought anyway. Nobody else did, though. After discussions I had no part in, it was decided that my uncle would be the next head. That they weren't confident I had the spine to do the job properly. I wasn't sure what to think. Part of me wanted to know why nobody bothered talking to me. Part of me was relieved. Somewhere inside I knew I didn't have what it took. So I was more than happy to let someone else take that responsibility. If it meant I could go on with my quiet life, I didn't care who they picked. My uncle, though, seemed to have caught on to my apathy, which he did not take kindly to, and in response he formally disowned me. You're not the only one who still had some growing up to do, Nellie. I wasn't quite the adult I thought I was either. So he got disowned because he was apathetic? That's crazy.
Fortunately, if you want to call it fortune, I was given enough money to live on for a decent length of time as well as a place to stay. There's a small house far from home. It's a way of making it hard for me to come back. Not that I had any intentions of returning. The best thing to come out of it all was you coming with me, Nellie.
This is our new home, dearest Mel.
Yep, so it is. It's amazing how little there is. No big yard, no paintings, no vases filled with colorful flowers, no silver bowls filled of fresh picked fruits.
But there is you and me.
You're not gonna go and say you want to return home in a couple months when you realize life isn't as luxurious here as it was back there, are you?
There's only one thing in the whole wide world I really need.
Oh?
Honestly, I can't live without shiny shoes and pretty dresses like Mother will. I can live without shiny shoes and pretty dresses like Mother wears. I don't need composers to come and write me songs for my birthday. As long as I have the one thing that matters most to me, I can do without anything else.
Are you saying?
I'm happy as I've ever been. I don't need all that fancy, expensive stuff. We may not have a huge yard, but the sun shines everywhere. Flowers can grow even without a gardener tending to them.
Nellie.
I'll do whatever I can for you, dearest Mel. Are you hungry? I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah, a bit.
Alright, I'll make something then. Start off with some fruit jam. Then maybe make a pie out of it. What else sounds good? I'm craving some cookies.
You've got quite the sweet tooth. You're gonna make yourself sick like that.
Hee. That's the first smile I've seen since we got here.
Well, that can't be right. I'm sure I've been smiling.
Nope, you've been frowning all day.
Sorry, I was just doing something really quick. Whatever you say.
Forget about all that stuff at home. We've got each other. We can do this. Who cares that we're not rich anymore? We'll figure things out in no time. And then we'll have even more fun than we did back there.
Yeah, you're right.
It'll all work out, dearest Mel. I'll always be here for you. You've got yourself an adorable little princess. What more could you possibly need? Cheer up.
Thanks. Really glad you could decide to come with me.
Oh ho ho ho. Did you think for a second I wouldn't? I'm your princess, dearest Mel. And princesses belong with their princes.
I suppose so. Till that day, I'd never known how good it felt to have someone who wanted me in their life, who saw me for me. I realized for the first time how blessed I had always been. I was hardly prince material. I wasn't strong or handsome or regal enough for that. But Nellie calling me her prince gave me the illusion of being worth something. Made me feel like I could keep on being that richly blessed young man, even this far away from home. While I had been given some money, my supply was far from infinite. I knew I would eventually have to find some kind of work, some way to support myself and Nellie. But to be quite honest, I couldn't gather the motivation to do much of anything. My whole life had changed so abruptly, so dramatically, that my mind just wasn't able to keep up. It had knocked me on my backside, and I didn't have the strength to get back up. I couldn't tell Nellie that, of course. This is what I said instead. I'm staying at home because I want to be with you as much as possible. And she happily took me at my word. Our new life together is quite unremarkable. Even so, I was still a constant stream of new experiences for the two of us, having been pampered our entire lives.
Welcome home, dearest Mel. What did you buy today?
Got a chicken.
Well, I've never seen one so up close before. Are you gonna keep it as a pet?
I was planning on using it for supper.
Well, you're gonna cook it?
It's the idea. You like chicken, don't you? Steamed especially, if I remember right.
Yes, but...
Ooh, woo.
Hi, Richard. How are you? But it's all covered in feathers and flapping about. How are we supposed to cook it?
Jesus. Oh, if I remember, the guy said you have to pluck its feathers, then cut off its head and drain all the blood. Well, at least kill it before you pluck its feathers. Jesus.
Ew, no way, absolutely not. Not in a million years.
I'm sleepy. Me too, buddy.
You do it, Mel.
What? I've never done this before.
Well, I'm not, so you do it.
Alright, alright. I'll bring it to the...
Not inside, do it outside.
Okay. Never had to slaughter a chicken before. Chefs back home always took care of it. God, I hope I don't screw this up. Well, I'm not gonna accomplish anything if I just sit here worrying. I gotta give it my best shot. Oh, please don't put up a fight. Oh, I can't watch. On the count of 3, okay, the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ack! Ah, wait, come back! It's gone. First, I was just fumbling about in the dark, constantly messing up everything I tried. But in time, I started getting more comfortable with things, and then I stopped pining for my old life. For the longest time, I couldn't shake the memory of the fact that I had once been a noble. I was constantly wondering how I ended up there, why this was happening to me. Nellie had seemed to have adjusted fairly quickly, but I wasn't faring so well. I was surprised, honestly. Figured anyone was going to have an issue with our new lifestyle, it was going to be her, not me. Back home, Nellie had tended to be, well, a bit of a princess. She was frequently harsh with the Abigails, scolding them for the smallest of things. There were times I thought she might be biting her tongue for my sake, but every time it crossed my mind, she would say, "I've got you, dearest Mel, everything's just fine." Those were the words that kept me going.
Oh, dearest Mel, I had the most wonderful idea. Would you like to hear it?
Sure, what's your idea?
We should get married.
Well, you can't be serious.
As serious gets. I mean, we're basically married already and everything but name.
We can't do that, we're siblings.
Nobody here needs to know that. They can guess from our hair and eye color, though. I don't think we look that much alike.
Anyway, whatever gave you that idea?
If we ever get married, then we can be together forever.
Could you just do that just as well as brother and sister? Sussy. It's not the same, though.
No one ever says two siblings lived happily ever after. I mean,
when it's put into perspective like this, it makes more sense that Nellie developed romantic feelings for her brother because she literally had nobody else in her life. Like, that was it.
I want to be with you for the rest of my life, dearest Mel. And the best way to do that is to get married. But Nellie, what are you so hesitant for? Is there someone you pine for?
No, but...
And there's no problem.
Blood-related siblings. Does she realize that getting married means eventually having children, everything that leads up to that? That goes against the teachings of the Lord. No, she's still a kid chasing after a fairy tale ending. She doesn't understand the reality of what she's saying. Sometimes I'm not sure what to do with you, Nellie.
So you'll marry me?
But right now I know you need God's word. Starting tonight, you're getting your own private sermon every night, understand?
Bleh.
My instruction was for as much my own sake as was for Nellie's. I'm not gonna lie, though it did cross my mind that her proposition might not be so bad. For one, I couldn't imagine spending the rest of my life with anyone else, and it had been her smile that kept me going when things got difficult. But I knew that it was a sin, and I didn't think I'd be able to live with myself if I crossed that line. So night after night I taught her, reminded her that we were brother and sister, and we didn't have to be anything more for her to be the most important person in the world to me. I'm gonna pause here, if that's okay.